What is up, guys? Sonduren Canadian Rider here. I got the 2008 Audi R8 here. Spring is on its way and today is a beautiful day. I'm gonna walk you through how to properly wash your car in its first spring detail. If you haven't seen my video already on the Attainable Dream Garage, this is a garage I put together with just a few parts, some storage containers, storage bins, etc. That makes it a great garage to go ahead and do some mechanic DIY work, detailing, and all that other stuff. So today I'm gonna show you how we're actually gonna do that inside of this garage. First, I want to say thank you to our sponsor, Chip Fix. If you're looking to get your rock chips or stone chips fixed on your car, I've used this on my 2008 Audi R8, and it's way easier and way more effective than a typical touch-up OEM pen. If you haven't seen that video, check it out, and if you want, go on their website. I'll leave it in the description box down below. You always want to start washing your car from the dirtiest parts first, and typically, this is your wheels here. In this case, I have these beautiful ADV1 wheels wrapped with Michelin Pilot PS4 tires. So we're gonna start working on those things first. After the wheels are clean and washed, what we'll do is go ahead and do the rest of the car in a way that's gonna make sure you're not instilling swirls and scratches on the car. So one thing I'll mention is that all these products are going to be listed in the description box down below, so feel free to check that out. But we're going to start with the wheels here, and the first thing we're going to do, I have this nice flexible garden hose, which I highly recommend you guys get. I'll link this in the description box down below, but this is really flexible, really easy. You wind it up, it doesn't kink or any of that crap when you're detailing, which is just a pain in the ass, so you don't want to have to deal with that. The first thing we'll actually do is just give this wheel a rinse. I'll go ahead and I'll turn on the hose here. And we just want to get some water on it, clean it up a bit, get all that gunk off to begin with. And again, this car has been stored for about 8 months now, or 7 months. So we're just giving it a good rinse here. Excellent. And the entire point of why we actually always want to rinse everything that we're dealing with is to not instill swirls or scratches, right? We want to get on as much dirt as possible off before we even touch it with anything. So in this case now, I'm going to be using a wheel cleaner. This is the OptiCoat Power Clean product. I really like this product a lot. There's tons of wheel cleaners out there. There's Sonax, there's Meguiar's, there's a whole bunch. They honestly all work the same. Sonax is really good though. I really do like the Sonax wheel cleaner products. You're gonna wanna make sure that you actually spray down the tires. We're gonna start with the tires and then with the wheel. So we're gonna spray just the tires with the wheel cleaner. And we're gonna let that soak down for a bit. And I'm gonna take my tire brush. This is a very stiff brush. That will help remove all the gunk off the actual tire. So we're just gonna go ahead and do that here. And again, my tire's not gonna be super dirty because I washed the car and obviously it hasn't been driven too much since I stored it. And that's part of the storage process. But that should remove most of the gunk with the cleaner that you have. Once you're done that, you're just gonna go ahead and rinse the tire. And now, obviously all the water is coming in. We're just gonna wait for most of the water to come down. Then we're gonna start on the wheel. So we're gonna spray this on the wheel and let it penetrate for about 2 to 3 minutes in a cool shaded area. So I'm inside the garage, it's cool, it is shaded, and I'm gonna apply it, and we're just gonna let it soak in. Right, so it's been about 2 minutes. What you're gonna do is now take this wheel brush. This is meant for the face of the wheel. It's very soft, boar's hair brush. And we're just gonna clean off the face of the wheel. And then we're gonna take this Detail Buddy brush, the small brush for all the crevices, the caliper that we wanna make sure that we get to. I like starting at the face, getting inside of these lug carriers here, and we can use this brush to get into them more. And I start from one side and I just work my way around. The great thing here is that this is a soft brush. You know, you're not gonna put too much pressure. You just wanna get all that gunk, that surface level gunk off of it, off all the spokes, okay? And then I'm gonna take the little brush here and I'm just gonna go do all the detail work inside here. Get the caliper and make sure we clean the caliper well, get it soaked in with the chemical here from the wheel cleaner. And just get all the crevices on the corners and everything else here. Great. Once that's done, you can actually see the product, and it depends on the product that you get, like start chipping away at all the grime and dirt, and you just see it kind of oozing out of all the crevices, which is great to see. Once that's done, we're gonna just let this sit for about another maybe 20 seconds, and we're gonna rinse this. By the way, I love this hose. It's just so easy to work with. So this is the wheel. That's how you clean the wheel. We want to start with the dirtiest part of the car. I'm gonna go ahead and do all 4 wheels now the same way. Once we're done, we're gonna actually start addressing the car. All right, so the wheels and tires are clean now, and the biggest thing we're gonna work on is the paint. This is actually the funnest part. What we need to do first is fully rinse the entire car before we even touch anything. We wanna hit off as much dirt and grime as possible off of the car. If you have a foam cannon, this is probably a good time to use it. A pressure washer, another great time to use it. I do have both, so I'm gonna go ahead and foam the entire car. Once the entire car is foamed, we're gonna let it sit for about 2 minutes. Let it all, make sure all the soap gets into the clear coat and penetrates to the dirt, and we're gonna give it a rinse off. We wanna knock off as much dirt as possible, so we're gonna do that now. There is an assortment of different foam cannons and pressure washers and guns. This is a Simonized 2000 PSI electric pressure washer, and it comes with a built-in foam cannon, which actually I think is really good. You guys will see that right now. I will link another product that I've used before, Sonduren product. It's 2000 PSI pressure washer as well, and this will all be linked in the drop box or in the comment box down below. So I'm just gonna shake this up. I've used a little bit of warm water and soap. It's still a little chilly here in Canada, and we'll be using warm water in the 2-bucket method wash. But here we go. We're gonna start really covering the car in this foam and soap just to get all the main gunk off. So we've really done a good job here. Foam the entire car. Again, this is really removing and breaking down the dirt. We let this soak for about 2-3 minutes. It's been about 4 minutes now it's been soaking. It's cool outside. Again, you're doing it in a shaded area not to get water spots or anything. And now we're gonna go ahead and take the pressure washer. I'm gonna use the 40-degree angle on this to really just get in there and just remove everything. Now we wanna take as much grime as you can with the pressure washer. Again, you don't wanna be too close with it, but you do wanna make sure you get all the grime off of it in conjunction with the pressure and the soap. You're gonna have a good slate to work on when you actually go ahead and use the Mitt in the 2-bucket method we're gonna do next. The car is now washed. We got it completely rinsed. What we're going to be doing now is using the 2-bucket method to go ahead and clean the car completely. I highly recommend that you get grit guards in them. So I have 2 grit guards here for both of these buckets. And the reason why, number one, you're going to be using a grit guard is to not instill swirls or scratches in the paint from any like rocks or debris or dirt. Most of the time what happens is if you're using one of these buckets without a grit guard, the dirt is going to end up swirling back into the water, into your mitt, and you're going to be applying your mitt on your paint, causing those swirls and scratches. Especially on a black car, you're going to want to make sure you have these grit guards, or otherwise you're going to get a lot of those swirls and scratches on your paint. So having them both is actually a good precaution. One of these buckets we're going to fill with water and soap. The other one's just water. In this case here, it's a little bit cold. I'm going to fill this up with some warm water and some soap, and this one with just warm water. That way we're going to go ahead and start getting the car actually clean. Right now we've, taken off the majority of the gunk off the car, but now we're actually going to be washing it properly with a mitt, 2 buckets, and some water. This hose is so cool. I love this hose. I've just used regular garden hoses before, and they're such a pain in the ass. You have to walk around the car, they get kinked, they're hard to move. This thing's like basically like a snake, and nothing ever bends, or there's no knots that happen with it, and you just turn it on and all the water comes, and it's very maneuverable. I love this thing. This thing's like amazing. I'll obviously list this in the description box, and it's just so compact. I love this hose. If you're literally just using a hose mainly to detail your car or wash your car and things, get one of these flexible hoses. They're well worth the 30 bucks, and they're much better. Probably not by durability. If you're doing your lawn or whatever, sure, but in terms of just washing your car, this is like the best thing since sliced bread. So I'm filling the other bucket right now with some water. but this is gonna be our wash bucket. So I'm gonna be using some Mother's Car Wash. Again, so many different options to use on car wash. You can get as sophisticated as you want. This is a really good over-the-counter car wash. I'm gonna add some of this to this water here. This is like, it's cold, as you can tell. This car wash is not very liquid at the moment, but it's gonna warm up inside of here. So we got that. And what I actually like doing, I like putting the mitt in here before you actually put some more water and start foaming it, just so the mitt gets fully foamed up with the soap. So I'm gonna be getting the mitt right over here. Now the mitt's one of the more important things as well when you're thinking about washing your car. So you could probably see from this mitt, it's a Chanel microfiber mitt. This is gonna be able to like scrub off the dirt in a way where it then releases the dirt. It's very good. I've been using these on all of my cars, all my black cars, and I've had no problems with these. So these are the type of mitts that you wanna get. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in. All right, ooh, that hot water feels good when it's a bit cold out. I'm gonna put up my sleeves here. Very good. All right, so now it's nice warm water. We've got the soap all caking in there, and I'm gonna go get our rinse bucket right now. So I got the rinse bucket, again, both with grit guards. One soap, one water. We have the hose, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna start from top to bottom on this car. Take this, nice, up here, and just wash it gently. You're not scrubbing, you're just gently washing it. And you want to do basically one largish section at a time. So I'm just going to do the top half here. I'm going to maybe do a bit of this. This is a big mitt, so I can do a larger section at a time than maybe what's normal. So I'll do this section here too. And I'm gonna flip the mitt. Now I'm not doing the bottom. See, I'm just doing all of this section, and it's mainly top. It's mainly the top of the car. Here we go. And here. This is like an actual, this is what I do to honestly de-stress me. From work or whatever else is stressful in my life. This is the time I just relax and just wash my baby that doesn't nag me about anything or cry about anything. Well, they do when they ask for an oil change or, God forbid, some other service. So maybe that's a lie. All right, so what you're gonna do after that is you're gonna take your mitt down in here and you're rubbing it against the grit guard. And you're basically getting all that dirt and gunk out in the rinse bucket, and you're going back to the wash bucket. But we just did this portion, so I'm gonna rinse the top portion that we just did here. Some water. Back into the wash bucket, get our mitt, and start doing the rest. Now, ideally, again, there shouldn't be too much concern about going to the bottom of the car and picking up dirt and other contaminants because you've rinsed the car. You've foamed the car, you've foam cannoned it, you've washed it well in a pre-soak and wash. And see, I'm flipping the mitt as I'm doing this. You know, making sure I get all of that gunk off. And then now I go back to the rinse bucket. Rub off all that gunk. Okay, and back into the soap bucket, and we're gonna rinse this off. And same thing again. We take the mitt from the wash bucket. I'm gonna start doing the windshield now. Put this up like this. Get it on this side of the windshield. I like to put the mitt underneath the windshield wiper, give that a good clean. And on top of the wiper as well. Great. Flip over the mitt, and now we're doing the hood. So if you haven't seen my videos about the R8, I've done a lot of work on it. The entire front end is covered by 3M Pro Series paint protection film. So I've had this film on for about 2 years now. Wonderful. I highly recommend you get a film when you have a car like this that you really care about. The film really protects the car against a bunch of road debris, contaminants, etc. Okay, so I'm just gonna go back and dunk into the rinse bucket. get back into the soap and do the rest of this hood here. Again, I'm not pressing down, I'm just lightly caressing the hood like you would caress a baby's behind. Just very gently, very gently. And I'm a perfectionist, don't get me wrong. You can tell this car is what, 12-year-old supercar, 2008, 47,000 kilometers on the clock right now. It doesn't look like that at all. It looks like a brand new car. It is essentially a brand new car. People give me compliments all the time about that. And there's so many small things that you could get caught up on. Those things are just gonna happen no matter what. But part of why you do this is the enjoyment of doing it. This is like very good for my mental health. So we're moving pretty quickly here. This car is actually not super big. Moving pretty quickly, but you don't really have to worry about water spotting if you have the right conditions and you're washing the car in, which I am like right now. So, and we're moving fairly quickly again, so nothing to worry about on that front. Make sure you get into every nook and cranny. Take your time. Like what I say to people all the time is like, don't rush when you're doing this. If this is like your baby, you know, take, I'd say 3 hours sometimes if you're doing like a full nice clean with the car. Take the time to do it right? Get in all the crevices. I'm not a fan of shoddy work. I'm a fan of doing it right. The good thing about ceramic is, so if you already have a car that is ceramic, you're gonna be able to clean the car much easier. It's gonna be so much easier to clean a car that has a ceramic coating on it. If you haven't already checked out one of my videos, I did apply the ceramic on this car after I got the paint protection film done. And it's a really good video. If you're interested in applying a ceramic, first off, I highly recommend it. And I highly recommend it over a traditional wax. You know, people have preferences. If you want to wax your car, you can wax your car. Because again, this is like kind of like treatment, mental treatment for me to do it. So I'd love to wax my car maybe once every like 3-4 months. It's a hobby, right? This is what I like doing. But if you don't have time, and I'm not gonna lie, time has been very little time that I have left anymore. If you don't have time, a ceramic is a much better option. I'm just gonna walk around the car and just give it one last rinse. We're done at this point. Car is now washed and it's clean. It's still wet, we need to dry it. What I recommend is a waffle weave microfiber towel of some sort, like the one I'm just picking up right now from my bin here. And these are typically really safe to use on the paints. And you know, make sure they're clean. A waffle weave absorbs quite a bit of water. We're just gonna go ahead and start obviously drying this off. As so. Again, light pressure like always with everything. Just gonna go ahead and start removing. What I like doing is, as well as I go through the car and I start drying it, really make sure the glass is completely dry. Because you know, line of sight when you're like looking through your windshield, you want to make sure it's a beautiful crystal clean look outside. So I like making sure you do that properly. You may have to wring out your cloth from time to time, which is fine. As long as you're getting in there, getting all the nooks and crevices, making sure that everything is nice and dry. So it is the next morning. It like really got freezing out yesterday. The car is obviously dried now fully. One thing I do want to do now is actually do the tires. You should be dressing your tires appropriately, obviously. And usually you do it right after the wash. I left it overnight because it was just so cold. I have here the OptiCoat tire gel. This stuff I've been using for the last couple times. It's actually really good. You just want to add, I obviously over added in my applicator here, so I'm gonna have to just dilute that a little bit. You're just gonna add a little bit of this gel and you're gonna put it on your tires. And the thing is, you wanna make sure your tires are clean. So I've obviously put way too much here. I'm just gonna put a little bit on this tire right now, and I'm going to put it on this tire. And I'll come back to this back tire, just get rid of a lot of the extra excess stuff. So I have a foam applicator pad, and all we're really gonna do is just rub this into the tire, making sure that you have full coverage across the tire. Don't put it on the actual place where the tire meets the ground, that's gonna potentially cause an accident or something. All you wanna do is just get the tire in here, and you're not trying to clean it, you're just trying to coat it because you've already cleaned it. And that's it. You're just gonna get a nice even coat. Make sure there's no like drippings or anything like that. And that's it. And this is gonna keep the tire looking good, keep the dirt off of it, add a nice shine. I actually don't like my tires too shiny, and this adds like a matte finish shine to it, so it's not really shiny at all, it's very matte. And that's the style I like. And I've been using this for a bit now, so I like this stuff. It's comparable, you can find other gels, I'm sure, in the market that do basically the same thing, but this is a water-based solution. So that is how you properly detail your car in its first spring detail. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We have a lot more videos coming up in the future for 2020. If you have any questions, comments, leave them down in the comment box down below. I'd love to help you guys out with this. Again, I've been detailing cars for the last 8-9 years. I did it professionally for a while. So I know a lot about the space. I know a lot about the car, especially with a black Audi R8, trying to keep that clean. So thank you guys again for watching the video. Check out my other videos if you haven't already on detailing, and I'll see you guys in the next one.